Good morning, students. Again, we are back with your commerce class. Hope you all are learning and studying properly. So, today we are continuing with our chapter number 9, and as we have discussed about meaning, importance, the organizing process, today we have to start with the types of organization. Okay, let me recall what is organization. It's an enterprise that defines what one has to do. An arrangement of activities towards a common goal. So, plus 2 class, today in chapter number 9, that is organizing, we are going to do classification of organization. There are two types of organizations. One is formal organization, another is informal organization. First of all, we will discuss about formal organization. Let us first recall the objectives of our chapter, why we are doing this chapter. First of all, aids to management, facilitates growth and creativity, ensures optimum use of resources, establish relationship among individual groups, clusters job into units, coordinates, perform an analysis about the work, identifying the work, grouping of activities, and communication. So far we have discussed organizing. Don't you think we can conclude that organizing gets results? So we are doing this chapter and we are following about different concepts of organizing, and all the concepts are oriented towards achievement of results. Here in this chapter we have already done organizing, meaning and importance, steps also covered. Today we will discuss about formal organization. These are the other points which we will discuss later on, that is informal, functional and divisional structures, line organization, line and staff, delegation of authority, responsibility, concept of centralization, decentralization and so on. So make up your mind that we have to do all these points. Okay students, now I'll just call out few names and you people guess what are all these names about. See, universities, court, corporations, state bodies, churches, schools, hospitals, companies, colleges, banks. All are these groups, and such groups are formal organization. So when you talk about formal organizations, so these are the all groups which you can see around your surroundings, which are in the society. These are the examples of formal organizations. The schools, hospitals, banks, municipality, all these are what? Formal organizations. So what we can talk here, when two or more persons come together, they have a common objective to achieve, and such a group is called formal organization. For example, departmental teams, project groups. Okay, let us take an example of a chain store. Say Vishal Mega Mart, you all are familiar with V Mart, D Mart, Reliance Mart, your malls. So these are what? Chain stores. And if we talk about formal organization, so here many persons have come together and they have a common objective to supply a large variety of goods under one roof to esteem needs of customers, to fulfill their requirements just under a single roof at reasonable prices with a lot of choices. So this is a chain store. Now coming back to your topic, a formal organization. Raman is working in Vishal Mega Mart. He is an employee there. He needs a leave. Okay, he needs a leave. He has to finish his work first. Now he has to arrange all the stock for the display. First of all, he has to consult. Now, Raman is here, employee. He has to consult first shift manager, whether he is working in day shift or night shift, or like from 8 till 2, then 2 till 10. So whatever the shift is there. Shift manager then conveys all his problems or the activities he performed to the store manager. Store manager make a record of all employees and conveys it to regional manager. Regions are north, south, west, east. Then the regional managers make their reports and contribute their workings to the CEO, that is Chief Executive Officer. Now the CEO is responsible for the profit margins and the presentation of the accounts, the working of the chain stores to the stockholders. Ultimately, these stockholders will contribute to the making up of V-Mart. So we have started from a single employee who then reports to a shift manager, then a store manager, then a regional manager, a CEO, stockholder, and then the chain store. What is this arrangement of employees called? It is called bureaucracy. What is it called? It is called bureaucracy, and it's a hierarchy of command. Here, division of work is clear. Everyone knows what kind of job he has to perform, who has to order whom, who is responsible to whom. So this is called formal organization. What we can say here, what is a formal organization? Now from the example we can conclude it's a type of group which is deliberately, purposely, voluntarily created and whose members are organized, grouped to achieve a common goal. Common goal, like if you talk about all chain stores, goal is to provide quality services to the customers. Specific goal to increase their own sale margin and profit margins. They use thought out tactics. They create plans, like they give offers, buy one get two free. If you purchase for 2,500 will be redeemed back. Pay through e-apps, you will be getting cash back. So what are these? These are tactics. Communities could be regarded as a kind of full-fledged relations between people and their professional status. Again, I am explaining this line. Communities could be regarded as a full-fledged relations. Society itself is a group. Few members out of that society having a common objective form an association and their professional status should match. Suppose in a school, the one who has a professional skill of teaching a particular subject join that group to and become a part of it. So what is this? Between people. Now those teachers have to interact with students, their parents, the persons who arrange competitions. So different people of societies are involved. Next we have to talk about types of formal organizations. There are three types of formal organizations: coercive systems, utilitarian structures, normative associations. If we talk about coercive systems, as the word is indicating, prison, psychiatric clinics, boardings, schools, military, Okay, one I have not written here. You must have seen these days while you go to your school or you go in areas near you, the Parivartan centers. Here, drug addicts do not go for their own choice. They are forced under a coercive system. So what's it? A formal organization. Here, strict discipline is followed, but life is monotonous, boring, and there is a level of individuality. Like every person, like in a school and a day boarding school, there is a difference. In school, we used to go, students study there, they follow discipline, but there is certain relaxation to them also. But in day boarding schools, they are far from their house, they are not going to their homes on daily basis, and they are doing their work properly. So next is utilitarian structures. Utilitarian structures, like in a company, if a group is made to give internship, that is training to employees who are not working somewhere but who has to get developed their skills, then they are working under a group, and that group is utilitarian structure, and which help them to bring out high salary. Moreover, if you get graduated or educated from a school which is very reputed, then you will get first class knowledge, your habits are admirable, and then your habits and your knowledge will help you to get good employers as your cooperatives. You will be getting good salaries. Next is normative associations. Normative norms means rules. Normative associations like church, brotherhoods, political parties. So here belongingness to general and good purpose is there. So all the political parties, people who join them, so there is no qualification criteria, there is no professional skill, only that they have a special quality that they can convince others, they can lead others. So that's why they have joined a political party. So it's a normative association in which they can work to bring out the criteria of helping others, the welfare of the society and all. So what does a formal organization structure look like? Like in a company, if there is a president, under him working 3 vice presidents, then divisional managers, as we have talked earlier about divisions, grouping works according to the departments, then the departmental managers, the different departments and their different heads. So there is a hierarchy of follow of command from president to vice president, then to divisional managers. Now one question is there, divisional managers. Suppose yesterday we had discussed about mobile companies. If the same company also has one product line of textiles, so it has 2 divisions now. One section is going for technology, another section is going for textiles. So 2 divisions are there. Like you have a very good example of Procter and Gamble, HUL, Hindustan Unilever Limited. They deal in a variety of products, soaps, detergent, shampoos, oil. So they have different products, chemical products, oil-based products. So different products lines and different divisions. So now we can conclude what is a formal group. It's a structured group which has a plan, position, and every job objective has a function to be performed. So what are the features of a formal organization? First of all, it is created by top management. Like we have talked about V-Mart. So CEO, the V-Mart stockholders. So it is created by top management, and in another example, president is there, then vice presidents, then divisional managers. It clearly defines authority and responsibility of every individual, that what every person in this organization has to do, what is his job, how he has to accomplish it. Formal organization is in writing, that is who are the members of the organization? Suppose if in a hospital, a dean is there, doctor's team is there, trustees are there. So there is a written prescribed names of each and every member of the society, who is at which rank, higher rank, then smaller ranks, and hierarchy is made in the form of a chart to describe the chain of command. Then delegation of authority. Delegation of authority is granting the power to assign a task. Granting the power to a person to assign a task, that is called delegation of authority, and that exists in formal organization. Next is division of labor and specialization. In a formal organization, we all know division of labor is there. Like in a school, teachers are there, coordinators, organizers, principals, chairman, directors, staff, the administrative staff, clerical staff, faculty is there, maids are there. So a huge group is there, and in that group work is divided. Everyone knows his job and they are assigned the duties, so they are expert enough in their work to become specialized for achievement of common goal. Now next is achieve objectives. So these formal organizations are designed to achieve the objectives of the organization and society as well. Then systematic. Formal organizations work in a systematic manner. Their working is smooth as per the needs of the society. They change their rules and regulations to cope up with the society members. Official lines of authority. Official lines is who has to command other. Like a president, then prime minister, the cabinet ministers, state ministers, MLAs, MPs. So there is a official line of communication. Now we have to cover the merits of formal organization, that what is the benefit of forming such a formal group. First of all, clearly defined roles and duties. Everyone knows what is his role, so there is no duplication of effort. Next is unity of command exists. Here scalar chain principle is followed. You remember scalar chain principle, like a straight line command, that who is my superior, who is the subordinate, I have to answer. So unity of command exists. Moreover, formal organization provides stability to the organization by laying down specific rules to guide the behavior of the members. It's a structured framework for performing all activities. A framework which is structured, which is decided from one person to another, from one job to another, to provide stability. In formal organization, fixation of responsibility is easy, and as a consequence, the result is that it provides a clearly defined superior-subordinate mutual relationship. There is less chance of conflicts in the organization. Okay, let us take few examples here. A psychology professor teaches psychology, but they do not attempt to provide students with financial aid forms. Now, what is it? Here, he clearly knows what is his role and duty, why he is in the organization, why he has joined the group. Another example, in a restaurant where food is backed up in a kitchen, right? And hostess is standing nearby texting on her phone. She is rather taking your order. Her job is to seat customers, not to deliver food. So, fixation of responsibility is there. A structured framework, who has to do what. Every organization has some demerits also. So, when we talk about the demerits of formal organization, first of all, it lays more emphasis on work to be performed, strict control on structure and work, sometimes ignore the interpersonal relationship among the employees. Formal organization does not provide a complete picture of how an organization works because it ignores the human relationship. Human values and emotions are kept aside. Next, formal organizations sometimes create rigidity. Prescribed rules and procedures creates rigidity, so there is no adequate recognition of talents. There is no recognition of creativity of few employees. Their creativity is restricted. And formal organization also established a chain of command in which there is more chance of delay in decision making. It fails to give a complete picture of the working of an organization. Now, whatever charts we have discussed, like stakeholders, CEO, staff manager, shift manager, regional manager, but how are they working? It is not described. What is their communication? What ideas they confirm? It is not justified there. Also, the formal organizations face opposition from employees against their rigid structure. Sometimes employees do not work in an organization where rules are very strict. So, this is all about your formal organization. Go through the explanation, read the page 222 till 224 for the thorough study of the concept in your book. Do refer the given link and listen to the video and have more clarity of the concept. Only then you are able to answer the question. First of all, define formal organization. Discuss features of formal organization. Give 3 types of formal organization. What are the merits and demerits of formal organization? Thank you.